just gonna turn the camera on and go. What's good, y'all? It's your boy D, aka the Strength Squad General, which I'm proud to say and announce every single time I wake up in the morning, not just doing these videos, but my walk of life, my whole purpose, you know what I'm saying? Why I move the way that I move, why I do things the way that I do. And I ain't even planning this, guys. I mean, I've been meaning to do this video. I never really knew the right way to do it or how to do it because, you know, it's just one of those things, one of those thoughts that you really try to escape when it comes to just certain experiences in life. So, you know, I try not to, you know, create a perfect scene to do it. And I guess today is the day that, you know, it was on my heart to do it. But a lot of y'all, I told y'all that I was here for transparency, man, to be completely open, become more of an open book to you guys. And I'm going to let y'all in a little bit more. So if anybody who have been, you know, wondering, you know, who is this kid, man, you know, he's a very inspiring person. He's aspiring to do things in life, and you know we obviously see what he does in terms of helping people, motivating people, and all those things that are near and dear to me. I'm not really even going to edit this. I'm just going to let it go. I don't even really have a true topic. Whatever I decide to do with this video, guys, just know that this is coming from the heart completely. All right, I'm just going to say this, bro. Like, it's a reason that I move with so much passion, and part of it is where for a period of my life I was running from things and also running to things, and I don't know if that will make sense to you guys, but it makes sense to me. Alright, so how can I break this down? Again, I'm just talking from the heart, y'all. I'm legit just talking from the heart. But growing up, y'all, I had, you know, a mother, but I was motherless. You know, I had a father, but I was fatherless. And I'm gonna make it make sense for you guys. And you gotta, you know, bear with me, guys, if I'm stumbling and stuff like that. I'm just trying to, you know, find the best way to, you know, communicate this to you guys. You know what I'm saying? This is a difficult thing for me to talk about, but at the same time, we're gonna get through it. Alright, so just be patient with me. But I'm gonna say, what I mean by that is, mind you, both of my parents are still alive to this day. To keep it real with you, I do not have any contacts with any one of them. And it wasn't always that way. I made my effort, I tried, and my mom has made her effort, she tried. And I don't know, maybe I made a mistake when it comes to, you know, my last communication with her. I don't know, I'm still learning in this place called life, and I know y'all are like, man, what are you talking about? Let me talk to y'all real quick. Let me open up a little bit, man. One of the reasons why I never really talk about my family, you know, which, you know, it's cringy to even say the word family, but one of the reasons why I don't really talk about them too much is because the thought of who they once were to me, like anytime I think of any of the, you know, anything that happened and transpired, you know, in my young life, is always a negative reflection. It's always a negative memory, and it's not just negative, but it's extremely difficult because I've gone through some things that, you know, I mean, I know we all go through stuff, but I've gone through things that a lot of people haven't gone through. And you know, for me, I thought it was normal growing up the way that I grew up. I thought it was normal because when I would talk about some of the stuff that was happening to my friends or my friends' parents, you know, they would literally, some of them would bust out in tears and would cry, where, you know, I kind of knew that it was wrong, but to see that, you know, their emotions would be the way that it is automatic, and then I have conversations with them and they would be like, bro, like, this isn't normal. This isn't normal stuff. The stuff that you're going through. So I don't know how long this video gonna be out. At some point I'm gonna cut it off. I don't want to say too much, but I'm just going, you know, like I said, I'm just gonna talk from the heart. But believe it or not, like, once upon a time, it wasn't always bad. You know, from my recollection as a kid, it wasn't always bad. It was weird. I can say that I saw a time in my life where, you know, everything was like, you know, the sun was out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just had this perception of life that, like, nothing can go wrong. Of course, I was a kid at this time. But when it comes to my own household and the stuff that I saw happening, I never saw anything negative. I don't know if I'm gonna go into that part, but I'm gonna just say it wasn't always bad, because even after what I saw, I would say even like right before I became a teenager, I did see my father try, at one particular period of my life where, like now that I'm older, I can look back and be like, okay, he made an attempt. It's just all of the wrongdoing overcompensates those efforts by tenfold. You know what I'm saying? All of the wrong overrules all of those efforts. You know what I'm saying? And and this is hard for me, y'all. This is hard for me. I literally just got finished recording a video. If you see me with the same outfit, it's, you know what I'm saying? I just literally just picked the camera up and started recording right after. But all of the wrong pretty much overruled any of those efforts, because it was just that bad. It was that critical. Alright, so I'm just gonna start at the point. I'm really giving y'all some stuff, y'all. I'm gonna start at the point where it got really, really bad. Alright, let me change. Let me move my hand because I'm holding the camera. But I'm gonna start at the part where it got really bad. Alright, mind you, I have two sisters. I have an older sister, I have a younger sister, and we are 3 years apart. And I know some people who grew up with me watch this content, and for y'all who genuinely support me, I appreciate y'all. But some of y'all, may chime in, and I know a lot of y'all, who do watch, who know me personally, can relate, or should I say, know exactly what I'm talking about. But where things went bad between me and my father, like permanently. Alright. Now, mind you, my father never really, he wasn't diagnosed with any type of mental condition. My mother was. You know what I'm saying? My older sister was, and my younger sister, over a period of time, she started to pretty much mental illness is something that ran in my family. Fortunately for me, I was never diagnosed with any type of mental condition, so God had grace and favor over me in that regards. Even though I believe that everybody serves a purpose here on this earth, and nobody's to be looked down on or be shunned upon, regardless of whatever it is that they go through, because we all go through something regardless. But mental illness is something that runs real heavy in my family. But my father was never diagnosed, but he did have certain things that he dealt with where if he didn't rely on his medication, it could affect him mentally, if that makes sense, which may have had an effect on, I guess, some of his judgments. But at the end of the day, none of that has anything to do with, at the end of the day, decisions that you make is ultimately a choice, especially when it's repetitive. Alright, so where things went left with me and my father, where it never turned back to be a positive thing, it was where, of course, as parents, if you're upset at your kid, you commit the act of discipline. So apparently he was upset at my older sister, so he wanted to discipline her. So he grabbed a belt, they went upstairs, and I was concerned for some reason. I just was very concerned when it came to that, because I just did not trust my father at that time, you know what I mean? Especially when I saw, how he was handling things, For instance, this particular situation, he was upset at her because she was growing out of bang. Alright, kids, they become teenagers and they start to, become fashionable. And, back in the day, so all you kids, you may not understand, but a bang was a hairstyle. It's pretty much for where girls would wear, their hair down, over their face. I'm sure older ladies can relate. He didn't like it. All right, now that's natural. It's okay if you don't like something, you don't like something. But the part that was odd for me was that he went in the kitchen and grabbed a pair of shears and he threatened to cut her bang off of her head. Now, I'm thinking to myself as a kid, why not just tell her to change her hairstyle? Why would you tell her to cut her hair? So that was a very odd thing for me, and that's why I said I didn't trust my father, because when I saw it, I'm like, dude, you're gonna remove her hair. So apparently he did it. He cut her hair and they got into it or whatever, and he was like, I'm gonna discipline you, and they went up in her room, and I just was concerned. So, being curious as I was, I went upstairs, just out of fear. And I saw my father, like where you would think, okay, maybe he would spank her or have a belt, whipping her or whatever. In this particular situation, he was on top of her, and he had the belt around her neck. And so at this point, I was in shock, and I was like, I just wanted it to stop, and I became very frightened of my father at that point, because I didn't know what he was like. I'm like, I don't know what you're capable of doing and why you're doing what you do, but I wanted it to stop. So I became like that brave kid who would risk my life and risk myself, to, deflect it, to get him off of her. And that's exactly what I did. I picked up a shoe and I threw it in his direction, not even intending to hit him. I just wanted him to stop doing what he was doing. So I threw the shoe in his direction. It didn't hit him. And I just seen him get up. He stopped. So, my method worked. The only thing is, ever since that day, he redirected his anger. Like, I'll never forget that. Ever since that day, he redirected his anger towards me, and it lasted for life. It lasted a lifetime, meaning up to where I'm at to this day, he never digressed from that moment. Wherever anger he had towards her, he deaded that. I mean, it would be like little stuff, little minuscule stuff, but he deaded it, and this dude had it out for me. He had it out for me ever since then. So he got off of her, and he pretty much was in operation coming after me. So I was afraid. I was scared. I was a kid, so terrified that I didn't see anything but what was in front of me. I didn't want to run downstairs and go into another room. I said, I'm running for life, because I saw what he did with her, and I seen how much anger and animosity that was pent up within him, and I seen just so much rage in his eyes. So I ran down the steps, and I felt like I was literally running for my life, and I ran out the front door, and I just ran up the street. So how did I get back in the house? I ran to a friend's house, and I didn't feel safe, so I ran to a friend's house, and I went to one of the parents, because I felt like, a kid wouldn't be able to, like I just wanted help. So I went to a friend's house, and I told one of my friends' parents, it was actually a woman, his mother, and she was like, well, I'm gonna talk to him. And I told her what happened. She was, her jaw was dropped to the floor, and so what happened was she went and talked to my father, and the talk lasted for like 2 hours. And then after that, she was like, you should be good. You shouldn't have any problems, but keep an eye on him. But at the same time, you should be straight. I had a nice lengthy talk with him, but, definitely keep an eye on him. So, of course I was nervous, but, I was welcomed back into the crib or whatever, and he was quiet. He didn't talk to me at all. But at this point, things was bad, and it just really took a real turn for the left, really, really bad. Now, mind you, at the time I'm like 12, something like that. I was really, really young. And I just remember we all had rooms. Everybody had their own room. I had my own room. Both of my sisters had their own room. And I just remember him coming home from work, and he had like a military cot, meaning, when the military people, they go to different countries or whatever to do battle or whatever, they don't necessarily, well, back then, I don't know what they do now, but back then, they didn't lay in beds or whatever. They laid on these flat cots, and, he worked at a military base where he was able to have access to this type of stuff. So he came home soon after this whole event, and he was like, get your stuff out of your room, you going in the basement. And I was like, what you mean? He was like, you're not living in the room anymore, you living in the basement. And the conditions in the basement was bad, Plus on top of that, my privacy was lost. And mind you, I never got my room back on top of that, never. So I was like, I ain't get it. And he was like, on top of that, you're not sleeping in your bed, you're gonna sleep on this cot. And I was like, damn. Now mind you, the cat was tough as nails, you know what I'm saying? And fast forward, some people, even myself, was thinking maybe he's trying to teach me a lesson, but I'm like, what lesson is to be taught, bro? You know what I mean? I mean, I get it, I'm a young whippersnapper. Don't get me wrong, I had my room growing, but we talk like, y'all follow me. So he was like, you gonna sleep on this cat. And so I was like, damn, you know what I mean? like we have a whole room, you know what I mean, that I could be sleeping in. Like there's no other way of going about this. So he was like, you sleeping in the basement. So I slept in the basement pretty much for the duration of my stay there. But the duration didn't last long because my father just really had it out for me, bro. Like if there was one particular day that I missed the trash, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, this is exactly what it was. One day, I forgot to take the trash out, and I came home from school and the door was locked. Now, mind you, I'm a teenager, you know what I'm saying? The door was locked, so he had to lock on the door, and he told me I couldn't come in the house. And I'm thinking, huh? You know what I mean? What you mean I can't come in the house? And I asked him what his reasoning was, and he was like, because you didn't take the trash out yesterday. I'm like, this dude crazy. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm gonna go? Now, mind you, he had a falling off with his family, so he's not close with his family. I never really got a chance to meet the family beyond like once or twice. It was like a large family gathering, and you know, I met them, but I didn't know them. I never had a chance to establish any type of bond or relationship with them. So basically, I had nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go, and he didn't care. Of course, he knew because you know he wanted me out. So this is when things just really started getting bad because I'm like, damn, this dude kicked me out of the house. I'm 13 years old. And I don't have family. I don't have nowhere to go. You know what I mean? I don't have no family to go to. And you know, so this is where, you know, me starting to get involved in the streets started happening because my friends would take me in. And I appreciate everybody who, you know, helped me during that period of my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have anything negative to say in that regards. I'm just gonna say I started, you know, somewhat gravitating towards the streets because I had to survive in the streets. Let's put it that way. I had to survive. I had to learn how to survive in the streets. And this is where my bitterness started to really like come in with my parents. You know what I'm saying? My father and my mother to a degree too. But because I'm like, bruh, you don't understand what I'm having to like overcome out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't understand how hard it is. First of all, having to, you know, go from home to home, trying to figure out where I'm gonna stay, bruh, was tough. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I just started to develop anger. Like my emotions, everything was everywhere. There was a part of me that, you know, grew to a point I just was like, bruh, I feel like my life is just useless. You know what I'm saying? I felt like my life was useless. My family don't want me, my dad don't want me, you know what I'm saying? My mother can't help me, she wanna help me, but at the same time she's so in fear of him to where, you know, she's like, hey look, if I was to go out there with you, then, you know, we both would be shit out of luck. And that's the part of me that made it a little bit difficult for me to forgive her, because I'm like, bruh, at the end of the day, man, y'all put me in this world, bro. Y'all allowed me to be here in this world. And if you ain't got your dad, you should damn sure have your mom. And, you know, even if you're afraid of him, these are my thoughts. I'm like, bruh, you gave birth to me. You should never let any man, you know what I'm saying? You should never let any man put your child, your kid in a predicament where you can't help them. Even if you couldn't, you know, see me back in the crib, you could have saw to it that I had somewhere to stay. So pretty much, guys, growing up, man, and you know, it's so much more to this. I'm not going to put all of this in one particular video, but this was pretty much my life. I'm just going to, you know, speed it up and say, of course, you know, staying at friends' homes and stuff like that, the parents will have to, it became a repeated thing where they would have to talk to my father, and it would be, you know, a 2-hour talk to where he would finally let me in, and then a week later, I'm back kicked out on the streets. So for me, growing up, I didn't really get a chance to really see what, you know, being a kid was like, because it was all survival mode for me. I had to learn how to survive in the streets, in the elements. And I will say this, and I talked about it in another video. I will say this, I remember, you know, by this point, I'm still not thinking my father like hate me, but I started wondering. And that's how, you know, like my mindset, I was like, man, it seemed like, you know, this is beyond teaching me a lesson. It feels like my father hates me. All right. So one time when I was there, I remember having the conversation. I remember having a conversation in my head. And I remember saying, I'm gonna ask him, do he hate me? And so, because, you know, whenever I was there, it was always hell. You know, he always was on attack mode. You know, whenever he did let me back in, he was always on attack mode. So it wasn't even like I was comfortable, but he was always on attack mode. This dude had it out for me ever since that day that I talked to you guys about. But anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna ask him. So I said, Dad, I said, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, you know, whatever it is, man, I just have this feel, this vibe that this is bigger than you trying to teach me a lesson. I have this vibe. I feel like you hate me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you hate me. Like I feel like it's more to it. I feel like this is now a hate thing. And so, my father with conviction, he looked me in my eyes and I saw such fire, such conviction in his eyes. And I'll never forget. This is one of the days that changed my life too. He looked me in my eyes and he said, I hate you. I wish you was dead. I wish you was never born. I wish you was never mine. And my heart fell to the floor. You know what I'm saying? My heart fell to the floor. I can talk about it now because I had many days and nights in my life where I cried. I learned how to become a strong dude by many nights of suffering, by many nights of having to deal with those type of obstacles. But, when he said that, guys, it really changed my world, man. It really changed my world. I didn't know how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. And all I wanted to do as a kid was try to find a way to get him not to feel that way about me. That's all I wanted. Even being told that, I was like, even when I'm kicked out, like, guys, you don't understand. I would be kicked out of the crib, and literally 8 hours later, I'm in Southeast somewhere in another part of the city, where someone who I don't even know would take me in, and I'm laying in a crib of, complete strangers. I remember one time when my father kicked me out, I met a girl on another side of the freaking planet of where I live. And I met her. This is all in less than 24 hours. I met her and told her the situation. She was like, I'm going to tell my mom, maybe she'll take you. And I'm like, you don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? How your mom going to take me in? But by God's grace, it's crazy because her mom not knowing me, I told her my story. I had one bag, told her my story. And not only did she take me in for that day, she let me stay for a few months. And I'll forever be grateful. When I tell you somebody's been praying for me, when I tell you that, an angel has been watching over me, because in any other situation, like who would do that? Where a complete stranger will watch over you, where a complete stranger who don't know you from a can of paint will take you in. And that was what it was, you know what I'm saying? I just, I was genuine. I told my story, I was grateful for it, but that was my life. That was pretty much, what I had to go through. And I just remember, I remember one particular night I stayed at her house, and I was like trying to find ways to win my father back. I was trying to find ways to win my father back. Let me check to see if my camera's still rolling. Sorry guys, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking for nothing. But I remember one night I was laying down and I was like, man, I'm like, how can I get my father to love me again? Now that I'm older, I'm like, bro, like, you don't tell your kid that, but, going through it the way that, like, in my mind, I was devastated, and I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to feel like, I was worth something to somebody, you know what I'm saying? So, for many years, even as a young adult, I dealt with depression, and it wasn't, in my mind, I was like, damn, maybe I'm, going through some mental stuff like my sisters are, or my mom is, or whatever. But I realized that it was where, my depression came from, being in a place where I was told I wasn't shit, from, like before the universe could mistreat you, before the world could mistreat you. It started at home, where I pretty much had a wing clipped before I was even able to learn how to fly, and that clipped wing started from my own father. My own father he severed that wing and was like, I'm gonna boot you out into the sky, you gotta learn how to fly. Alright. And so, before the world could tell me who I was, or before the world could, start, just, coming at me the way that it came at me or whatever, it started at home. So, when I tell you I had to start, I'm looking at my phone too, y'all, that's my daughter. Everything was happening so fast, so, you gotta keep in mind, I'm trying to wrap my head around that. I'm in the streets, trying to learn how to survive in the streets. Next thing you know, I'm in the clubs everywhere. That's one reason why I'm a homebody now. It's because I partied so much, guys, to get, myself away from the pain. I was in the clubs to the point where, like, we was in the VIPs, like, literally, I'd be in it, like, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Sundays when I wasn't even of age, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the 21 and over nights, you know what I'm saying? I pretty much like was well known, you know what I mean? Going to the clubs, it was like we can get in for free, easy, bypass all the lines. Party so much. Never had a chance to really sit down and really know who I was, discover who I was, and it took me a long time, guys, to get to this place that I'm at right now. It took me a long time to get to this part of my journey, guys, where like I have a much more clear understanding of who I am, why I'm here, why I went through what I went through. And again, I'm not gonna feed everything all in one video. I may just end the video right here, but I'm not gonna leave it on a negative note. But trust me, it took a lot, you know, and I will say what has contributed to helping me is besides the people who prayed for me, who I don't know, the people who God brought into my life, who was just there as an ear, a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to lean on, the people who took me in. I would just say, you know, the people who God has placed in my life has had a tremendous impact on me in terms of helping me with my growth, you know what I mean? Even the strangers, the old heads on the block, you know, who would just kick knowledge. I never lost that, man. I never lost sight of that. I always was thirsting knowledge, trying to understand, gain wisdom, and that's why I always come through, man, sharing gems and nuggets, because I am a wealth of knowledge. There's a lot of things that I've learned over time. There's a lot of things that I've learned through my experiences. And I've grown to a point, I'm like, you know what? I realize, man, everything that I've gone through is for a grander purpose. Everything that I've gone through has put me right here. And guess what? After all of that, we are the Strength Squad. You know what I mean? We are a symbol of strength. You know, it is true. What does not kill you only makes you stronger. You know, God put me in a position to be a leader of men and women, to be the captain of this Strength Squad ship, because this is important to me, because I really want to help encourage and uplift people to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm also aware that it's not just me who have gone through those things. There are other people who have gone through those type of scenarios, if not worse. There are people who are growing up now, who are having to face adversities and opposition. I feel like the things that he has taught me, it's my duty to, you know, take everything that I've learned that has, you know, put me in this place to, you know, operate in the mind for, like, I once wanted to commit suicide, y'all. Fortunately, I didn't fall through with it, but, you know, it was just that bad for me where I wanted to commit suicide. And but it got to the point where I'm like, bruh, you know, I finally learned how to love myself, bro. And I did it by myself, meaning, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about people who tell you they love you. I mean, you know, receiving love from others is cool, but that's not really gonna get you through it when you're dealing with anything, or when you're just really trying to know God's purpose for your life. It's really not about someone else's reflection on you, whether it's love, hate, whatever. It's about you loving yourself. It's about you learning how to love yourself. And it took me a very long time for me to get to this place where I genuinely love myself. You can't tell me nothing, man. I see myself. I see God's work in me. I see God's worth, God's value of my life. I see my values. I see my assets. I see my gifts. I see so much of me to where I'm like, bruh, I'm unstoppable, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm unstoppable, and I just want to be a vessel. I want to be a vessel, and I want to do his work. And that's part of the reason why I do what I do. That's actually the main reason why I do what I do here on the channel, is because I didn't go through all of what I've been through just to talk about it or just to not talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Nah, bruh. You know, this is a grand purpose. This is a big thing that we're doing here, and I really want to inspire a life. I remember when I was a kid, this is another reason why I'm doing what I do too, because I remember when I was going through that, I was like, man, I don't have a single person that I can talk to. Maybe if there was a book available where I can just read it while I'm passing through life, while I'm doing my thing, maybe I can, you know, pick up some gems or something that could help me. So I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? If you think about it, as a kid who was just reaching out, looking for help, even to the point where I'm like, man, maybe I could find a book. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm in a position to where I may not have that book yet. I may not have that available yet, but at the same time, there's someone out here reaching who just needs help. You know, I'm like, I could be that one person who could provide some type of word of encouragement that could stop someone from jumping off the ledge of a balcony, from slashing their throat, from doing anything detrimental that could stop them from getting to that point where they get over that season, to see the reason, to finally get to the point where they can actually see the reason why they had to go through that pain and turn that pain to purpose. You know what I'm saying? If you're going through anything, always know that whatever pain you're going through, always know that your pain is designed to turn into purpose. Trust and believe. I'm not just saying this just to say it. Your pain is designed to be useful as fuel for your purpose. All right. So we're gonna unveil a lot of stuff here on the channel. It feels good to get that weight off of my shoulders, but just telling my truth. I don't want you guys spamming it up by bashing my family. Even though I don't talk to them, I'm not bashing them, believe it or not. I still have love for them. My father, I have love for you if you're watching. I have love for my dad, because I'm not that type of person. You know, you can't put that energy on me. You know, at the end of the day, what it is that I'm here to do, the conviction that God has on my heart. God put me here to be a loving being, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk in my truth, and I'm going to be exactly who he wants me to be. And I just have that type of compassion in my heart. You know what I'm saying? Even though I may have to feed you with a long spoon, at the end of the day, I can't hold hate in my heart. You know what I mean? So I still got love for him, and I don't want you guys to, you know, come through with anything negative. If you don't hear me saying anything negative, I'm gonna ask you guys to not be negative as well. Just know that I'm at a better place and I have an understanding of my purpose, and I'm excited about my life. I'm excited about my purpose and everything that God is doing in my life. Yeah, I appreciate all of the people we placed in my life, who is, you know what I'm saying, ride or die with me, bro. People who was here for a season. I appreciate that reason. I appreciate all of that. But anyway, y'all, that's my truth. I told y'all I was going to start opening up more, and of course there's so much more to talk about, but I'm just going to leave it there. As always, do what brings life to you, and it's a great chance that you'll bring life to whatever it is that you do. Do not let that go over your head. Hold it in your heart. You already know more lit content on the way. The goal is to what? The goal is to #grow strength.